Playhouse, Y94.0, and Amy K entering comfort in numbers, which basically is somebody needs to know they're not the only one.
Yeah, other people have been in their shoes.
Now, Chrissy, I know you're not the only person that's done this because there's TV shows about this, but she says, looking for some comfort in numbers. I found out I was pregnant when I was already more than 7 months along. So she's 7 months pregnant before she realizes she's pregnant, okay? I had no clue. My periods were never regular. I never had morning sickness, and honestly, I just thought I was gaining weight from stress and overeating. Now that I have a beautiful baby, I'm still struggling with everything that happened and can't believe that in my mind I was pregnant for like a month and a half. The baby's father and I aren't together anymore, and we weren't together when I found out, so there's really nobody close to me to be like, hey, I think your body's changing. I do feel guilty, embarrassed, and like I somehow failed, and I'm just wondering, is there other people out there that found out they were pregnant fairly late in their pregnancy?
I knew right away, but I track everything.
Well, and if you're kind of, a lot of people are trying, right? So they're very acutely aware too.
Yeah, so I found out immediately. But when I was pregnant, I remember I don't know what we were doing. We were making some sort of bags for some event, and I was chatting with some coworkers, and one of our coworkers said that his good friends, she found out when she was 7 months pregnant too.
That's wild.
And I said, I could not imagine. That is crazy.
But aren't there literally shows like I didn't know I was pregnant and stuff like that?
Yeah. I just, not even how do you not know? Because I do think some people they might not have those symptoms. And I've seen that before, but it would just be mentally so hard to it. You're pregnant, the baby's almost here, you're not ready. I can't imagine the stress. So I feel for you, but I haven't been there.
2 months or a month and a half is a quick turnaround. Imagine being one of those people, because you hear this viral story every now and then where it's like they were like, oh man, my stomach's just killing me. I'm so sick. And they're like, well, you're in labor. That same day, be like, here you go. You're
Here's
a mom
your
now.
baby.
Can you even imagine?
No, because you're not ready. Could you imagine going to the hospital just thinking you're sick and then you're coming home with a child? How?
And then obviously the father at some point you have to reach out and be like, hey, so you know how you're in the waiting room right now and I went back to talk to them about my stomach pains. You might want to come back here because you just had a baby. So, if you could bring a Sprite or something.
Why is he in the waiting room?
Nobody thought to tell him. It was just that fast. Yeah, you got an instance like this where you didn't know, maybe oddly late into your pregnancy. You know what? There's a baby there. I am pregnant.
And she is getting comfort. Someone said this happened to my sister. She was training for a half marathon, still wearing all her normal clothes. She had no clue. She found out at 30 weeks. She had less than 2 months to figure out everything. Baby is now a happy little tornado. And someone else said, I found out at 32 weeks. I had no bump because my baby was tucked way back. And I still was getting what I thought were periods, never got sick. I only went to the doctor because I thought I had kidney stones. They did an ultrasound and said, congratulations. I cried the whole drive home because I was shocked.
It's wild. They think there'd just be things that would happen along the way where you'd be like, this is different.
But if you really have no symptoms or anything, and like that one person who thought she was getting her period, oh my gosh.
You'd think maybe somebody in your life be like, at bare minimum, I've noticed that you seem a little more blessed in one area all of a sudden.
Have you ever seen those videos where your hair changes and people are at the hairdresser and the hairdresser's like, are you pregnant?
Weird.
And they're like, yeah, we haven't told anyone yet.
What happens to hair? I don't know.
I don't know exactly what happens. I don't know if I don't know. Something changes in the hair and sometimes they can tell.
I don't know a lot about hair.
Someone said this is more common than people think. I work in labor and delivery, and we've had moms come in not knowing they were pregnant until they were in active labor. It definitely happens.
Yeah, I got one of these instances of it was kind of late in the game where you found out you're preggers.
So it's funny because I know people watch those shows and they say, how could you not know you were pregnant? But every pregnancy is different and your body's different for everyone. So with my son, we totally planned him and figured it out, the time frame and what time of year we wanted to have a baby, and we did that, and it worked out, thankfully, and everything was great. But with my daughter, I didn't actually find out I was pregnant till I was 29 weeks along,
wow.
And just nobody could understand. But, I was chunky already, and I had my son about a year before, so my body was still kind of in that weird hormone mode of where everything doesn't quite come back the way it used to be. And so I really had no idea. And I had been gaining weight a little more rapidly than I had liked, even though I've been trying to lose. I was always hungry. And I went to the doctor, and she was like, "You're kidding me, right?" She did the ultrasound and traced it back. And I was like, sure enough, 29 weeks in, and just couldn't believe it. But the problem is that you're not as prepared as you would like to be. And boy, wasn't that a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great surprise, and she's awesome, and she's 12 now. So I think it worked out all right.
Someone said, tell her not to beat herself up. My coworker found out she was almost 8 months pregnant after she went to urgent care thinking she had pulled a muscle, 0 symptoms, and nobody noticed. Her daughter's now 12, perfectly healthy. And another person said, my cousin and his girlfriend found out she was pregnant when she went into labor.
That would just be mind-boggling.
Someone else said, I found out at 28 weeks after I went in because I hadn't been feeling right. I had taken 2 pregnancy tests earlier in the year. They were both negative. I spent weeks feeling embarrassed until I realized this does happen to other women, and I've heard so many other similar stories.
Well, and that's what Chrissy's looking for. She wants that comfort in numbers, that she's not the only one that pretty late in the game found out she was expecting. Hi.
Oh, my gosh, the exact same thing totally happened to me.
Okay.
I found out I was pregnant literally a month before I gave birth to like a baby we didn't expect. And I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. Like, is she a fat slob? Not exactly.
No.
That's not what
my
we're thinking.
weight fluctuates a lot. And my periods are irregular. So we really didn't see this coming. I was just having a lot of weird pains and just thought it was gas, put on a few pounds, but not like a ton of weight. So it was somewhere in the middle, and I couldn't really tell until, boom, went to the doctors because I was having some back pain, and bam, apparently there's a baby on the way. And my husband wasn't exactly an excited parent to be because we thought we were done with the kids. We weren't going to do any more kids. Needless to say, we do have a little baby girl now. But yeah, it happens. And, what are you going to do? I just thought I was putting on some extra weight, but it was actually baby weight, the real deal. It happens.
Wow. It's actually crazy how many people are just like, yep, been there.
How that person said their back hurt, that's kind of similar to this person. She said, I was taking birth control, never missed a pill. I figured pregnancy wasn't even possible. I found out at 31 weeks, finally went in because my back hurt so bad.
So back pain seems to be queuing people off quite a bit.
I
tipping
guess.
off.
I mean, or sometimes they're just not feeling good going in. Oh, you're not feeling good because you got a baby in there.
Yeah, Chrissy, if you wanted some comfort in numbers, you absolutely got comfort in
Yes.
numbers. It's not just you, so don't feel like weird or ashamed about it or any of that.
Yeah, someone said, please tell her she has nothing to feel guilty about. If you don't know, you don't know. Your body doesn't always read the textbook. The important part is she knows now and can take care of herself and her baby.
If you had to, if you had a choice, because I know you guys have talked about maybe someday number 2. Would you want to be kind of like before, where you're very acutely aware, or would it be kind of fun to be like, wait, how far along? Would it be kind of exciting to have in your mind like a 3-month pregnancy left?
No.
No.
I need to
Stressful.
stress the whole time, okay?
The whole time you got to be stressing, planning.
Figuring out everything. I would like to know I log everything. So I follow along on my phone. Yeah, I think I would want to know because I think I'd be too stressed out. Even though we weren't prepared because he came early and we had nothing set up, I couldn't imagine that, but in less time.
You know what? I'm so bad at waiting for things. I'm a very impatient person. I'm highly impatient. I'm always jittery and waiting to go to the next thing and just flying all over the place all the time. It'd be pretty. I'd be down, I think, if
You would like that?
my wife would come home from like a routine doctor's appointment, and I'd be like, "Hey, how was the doctor today?" And she's like, "We're having a baby in 2 months." I'd be like, "Sweet."
I think the only surprise I want if I have another pregnancy, I might wait to find out gender, and I kind of want to wait until birth.
You claimed that before. I've heard
I also
this.
claimed that I we all
Okay.
remember.
We all remember.
Give me the medicine.